There have been some senior people.
Can I come to Shahrar Ali, because there is undoubtedly a serious humanitarian crisis unfolding across the Channel, but you can see here that there's a crisis for small businesses, and you heard from our gentleman over there that coach drivers, lorry drivers are getting fined because they're being overwhelmed by migrants in Calais. It isn't fair on people just trying to do their jobs, is it?
No, I mean, these are two sides of the same coin, and I absolutely agree with the proposition that we need greater cooperation, not less. The migration solution, also the parking on the motorway solution, it has to do with intelligence on the ground, it has to do with better communication. And at the moment, in the same way that we're scapegoating migrants, we're actually scapegoating lorry drivers. I mean, I actually believe in something called, maybe old-fashioned, policing by consent. How can it be that you are being penalised for something which you haven't consented to? It's happening at the back of your vehicle, you didn't allow it. There should be cooperation at that point. If anything, maybe you should get a reward. I don't actually believe in that way of dealing with it either. But the thing is that you shouldn't be penalised for something which is not systematically your fault. That is ludicrous.
But your party does believe in just shy of an open door policy, doesn't it?
We do talk about, I wouldn't call it open door, I'd call it open borders. We think that that is a much more enlightened approach, which I think people are systematically, fundamentally human. If you look deep enough, yes, we're hospitable towards others. We are hospitable, not hostile, and that's something which I think we need to ratchet down the language of anti-immigration.
We should open our border.
Basically, what's happening now, the short-term solution, and there's a long-term solution, the short-term solution is not to have this chaos on our roads, this gridlock. Nobody's getting anywhere, nobody's moving anywhere. If that means, even in terms, do the maths, in terms of 750,000 pounds lost, how is that benefiting us? How much would it actually cost us to manage humanely the peoples who are trying to come to our shores? So what's the actual equivalence there? It's ludicrous.
Do you think we should open the border to them?
We should certainly be more welcoming to those people who are fleeing persecution, wars and foreign policy, which is often of our making. We have a far greater responsibility than we're doing at the moment.
Can I put that to Paul Carter? Do you feel that... We're going to speak now to Rona Church, who, similarly, Paul Carter, found an illegal migrant underneath her car.
Well, it was underneath an HGV, just in front of my vehicle, and he literally got out and made off. I think we need some partial remedy to this very, very fast. And my question to the panel would be, why can't the government implement the military to take control of the ports, working alongside the border agency with immediate effect to get us through this crisis?
Shahrar Ali.
Well, I don't agree with that approach at all. That's more and more Fortress UK. I think that's completely the wrong way to go. And, you know, we've just heard that there's going to be mischief making amongst the lorry drivers if there were no fines. You know, apparently we can't really be trusted. We can't be trusted to obey the laws of the land. That's completely the wrong way to go. It isn't above anybody's pay grade. It's all our responsibility as human beings. You saw the vulnerability of that individual. That could have caused a pile-up. You took some initiative, and it was extremely dangerous for everybody. We need to have in our minds not just the risk from actually of those migrants trying to go through these nefarious means into the country, but the risk to ourselves. I think we should be treating ourselves with a bit more respect and ownership of the situation. It's a case of intelligence on the ground, it's a case of us being more welcoming and our demanding what do we want to do with these people? Are we going to take a collective responsibility for people who are fleeing continent after continent? I mean, the Mediterranean has become almost like an open cemetery. And as for people who are actually having to camp out in really ugly conditions in Calais, some of them are having to bury their losses in Calais cemetery.
Rona Church, I'd just like to come back to you.
We don't need the army, and we don't want to get the army involved. That is Fortress UK. We'll have none of that.
It's Fortress UK.
What we're really losing sight of here, the thing that we're most in control of, politicians included, is what kind of people do we want to be? And I salute you for going against your party policy on that. And Paul has been talking about, with a complete lack of political imagination, he talks about people actually scrambling to get through those wires. That's because they're desperate. Why don't you have the imagination to realise these people are fleeing from terrible straits?
Okay.
Why do we penalise them for being born in the wrong place at the wrong time?
We are going to have to wrap it up there.